372,000 new jobs, apparently, after jobs had been decimated over the course of the last couple of years. This doesn't really reflect, though, the quality of those jobs, and I think that's being called into question by a lot of other financial analysts, determining, like, are these jobs paying enough to keep up with the inflation rate? Probably not, but there's definitely, it's definitely, I think, on par with what they were expecting for this period. Meanwhile, in Canada, apparently in this last month, we've lost 42,000 jobs. So this was apparently a surprise, but it's interesting that the jobs seem to be doing so-so, but not as good as last year, as you can see. Wonder why. Anyways, let's keep going.
Expected in June. And on top of that, jobs created an increase of 372,000 in June when the Dow Jones estimates were around 250,000. Now, this is pretty good news, and the unemployment rate was back at 3.6%.
Yeah, we got a really
still
low
unchanged
employment
from
rate.
May and in line with current estimates.
Really low
now,
unemployment, which is good.
That our labor
it's good.
markets remain really strong despite all the
But are they able to
challenging
keep up?
headwinds and even the news that we get with, Elon Musk doing his thing with employees and seeing as if many people are getting laid off, but then we actually hear the report that tells a different story. On top of that, the Federal Reserve officials are now likely to
Okay, hold it right there. So he's talking about how we're hearing from these companies, how they're laying off their employees, but then we're getting this report about, oh, it's actually gone up. And we're hearing this not just from like Elon Musk, but we're hearing it from multiple sources, including crypto. And the reason for that is because the kind of positions that they're laying off in these types of companies are high skill. Like these are well-paid jobs, whereas the kind of jobs that we're suspecting, these new ones that are being created, are actually low. So even though there are these new jobs in the last month, they weren't very well paid. So that's the contrast. That's why you're hearing about companies laying off all over the place, because the high-paid jobs are disappearing and only low-paid jobs are being left. So that's not good. Let's keep going.
And aggressive rate hikes over the coming months. So it looks like right now, with everything going on in the market, I don't see too much of a catalyst or change based on the current macroeconomic circumstances. With that being said, just keep in mind, Bitcoin still is on track of making some pretty solid weekly gains, still sitting at above $21,000, which is up about over $2,000 since last week. Now, zooming into Bitcoin and seeing a little bit of some short-term price action, we'll notice that the 4-hour RSI has also now entered some oversold territory earlier today, and for the first time since May, this is now peaking at about 75. On the weekly chart, we can also notice that Bitcoin is back to its 200 weekly moving average, which is also now showing a price level that has Bitcoin and bear bottom
so hold
market.
Right there. Look at the chart right there. You can see how for the past month, almost, like, yeah, that's a month. We're coming on the next week. Bitcoin's been below its 200-week moving average. So the problem is that a lot of people believe that this indicator is something which shouldn't be broken, yet we have in the past month. To me, this kind of screams that past indicators does not indicate future performance. But for traders and people who are really into analysis, this is something which is very scary, I think, because it means that whatever kind of rules they have about, things that they can always count on, this is one that they stopped being able to count on. And he talks about how it's now become resistance. Yes and no, pretty much. It's just touching it. But it clearly shows that we are in uncharted territories, which is something I've said numerous times in previous videos. So keep in mind, we just don't know what's going to happen next in this kind of climate. So as much as you want to predict that things are going to be good or bad, all you can do is simply say, I don't know.